Peace and blessings, family. I love you all. I hope everyone's doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about why it is that specific diets, or as I like to call them, libets, or having a specific way of eating, of what you eat and when you eat and how much you eat, and why that actually has an effect specifically on being able to reach more transcendental states. So being able to reach meditative states, dhyana, or even all the way up to samadhi. So in the Taittiriya Upanishad, it said that we have these 5 sheaths called the koshas. These are basically the 5 veils of our existence, the 5 bodies that you would say. And they're all intertwined, but they have it kind of visualized here as like a nesting or like a Russian doll egg or something. So basically, you have the Annamaya kosha, which means the food sheath. That's your physical body. Then you have the Pranamaya kosha, the vital body, the Manomaya kosha, the mental body, the Vijnanamaya kosha, the intellectual body, and Anandamaya kosha, the bliss body. Okay, so if you notice Annamaya kosha, the very first is the most inner, the physical body, and it literally says food sheath, Annamaya. So it's actually very highly connected to food, the physical body. So the reason that you can't reach higher states, let's say whether you're performing any sort of Western ceremonial magic or you're just doing meditative practices, apologize about that, my roommate came in here. So let's see. Oh yeah, talking about reaching these higher states of consciousness and why food actually blocks it. So if you look at these veils, the physical body is called the food sheath. So it's made up of the foods that you eat. You know that we always heard back in the day that you are what you eat. Well, guess what? You literally are what you eat. What you eat breaks down. The energy is transformed and transmuted into living energy, life force. And so that which you eat is actually what you become. So that's why fasting is so important when you are seeking and walking the spiritual path. Fasting is very important. Also, timing when you eat. So if you're wanting to get into deep meditations and stuff, that's why Brahma Muhurti, before the sun actually rises, like an hour or so, hour and a half before, that's why you can reach these higher states much easier there. You haven't ate since way earlier the day before. Also, the timing is just very auspicious and it makes it much easier to reach higher states of consciousness during this time. But that has part to do with the body and the food. So while you see in most of the yogic lifestyles the keeping up a vegetarian lifestyle, and most of the time eating like 1 meal a day, basically intermittent fasting always, and just eating very light. And the reason that is because it literally makes you light. It makes you lighter. It makes you less gross. And I don't mean nasty gross, I mean like dense. It assists you to transcend into these other veils of your subtle body. So there's the Sharira Traya, which is kind of categorizing these 5 into 3 categories of the Sthula Sharira, which is the gross body, the physical body, and that's the Annamaya kosha. And then your subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, is the Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, and Vijnanamaya kosha. Like I said, the vital life force energy is the Pranamaya kosha. Also, all your fluids, cerebral spinal fluid, and other fluids within the body. The breath is connected to Pranamaya kosha. The Manomaya kosha is your sense the manas, the sense object mind, the part that filters through your uh, gyanendriyas and karmendriyas. Okay, and then you have the karana sharira, which is the causal body. That's the anandamaya kosha. And these three states also align with the Mandukya Upanishad of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, with the Sthula Sharira being the waking, Sukshma Sharira being the dreaming, and Karana Sharira, the causal body, being the dreamless sleep. And there is a fourth state called Turiya that contains all of these other states within it. So it pervades all of those other states and is beyond. So the reason that if you're having a hard time communicating with spirits, if you're having a hard time reaching deep meditations, or any type of mystical practice, you want to make sure that you watch when you eat, how much you eat, and what you eat. And that's why, if you think about it, meat, it's super dense and heavy. We all know that it takes forever to digest, and it does kind of sit and rot in the gut. So that's why meat is not nearly as used in the East within India. You definitely have the people within Vamarga traditions and stuff, the left hand traditions that will eat meat, but for the most part, most people don't eat meat that are practicing these yogic lifestyles, and that's has a lot to do with ahimsa and harmlessness, not being violent, and also just the emotions and stuff that gets transmuted through energy, the negative emotions that the animal was feeling when it was being tormented and scared to death and tortured and killed. That energy, that subtle, I guess you call it like the Tan Mantra, subtle essence of that trauma is transmuted into the body. So, yeah, basically that's why that you can't reach these higher states of consciousness if you're eating 3 meals a day of the sad standard American diet, eating lots of processed foods and meats and stuff like that. That may be a big reason why that you're not able to reach these higher states. And if you would start just watching what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, and how conscious you are when you're eating, how much gratitude you're giving to the food and the life force that's coming through the food, and how aware you are when you're eating, or if you're just kind of gobbling stuff down, going through a drive-through, and all this toxic food and stuff. It makes sense that you can't reach higher states. So make sure to try to eat an extremely balanced, healthy, live it, a way of living and eating. And I guarantee you, if you change what you eat, you'll be able to reach these higher states super fast. Like, I noticed such a tremendous shift in my spiritual path when I started really taking care of my body and watching what I eat. And it was seemed like very shortly after eating 1 meal a day, very light vegetarian diet, with eating or live it, but eating that, it was just like took no time, and then boom, I was hitting these super high states of meditation that were just mind-boggling, leaving me feeling like super blissed out and almost feeling like high. Is wild. But yeah, that's why that you're having a hard time reaching these higher states if you're eating a certain way. Peace and blessings. I love you all. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day.